Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I was actually debating whether I should do a match review just because of how the mood is around the fan base at the moment and everything is really dark and difficult. But I haven't posted in a couple of days. I've had the most manic work and weekends and everything, so I still wanted to do a match review. My puppy isn't home right now, so if he comes home while I'm streaming, he's going to definitely interrupt and come running up, I think. So if that happens, sorry, but maybe seeing a puppy will make you happy because he's the cutest thing on the face of this earth. So let's get into this match review. And going into the match, I really didn't have so many expectations just because of the form that we've been in. But my heart was telling me, Chelsea always show up against Spurs, where, unbeaten at their new stadium. I think we beat them 3 times, hadn't conceded a goal. So I was really hoping that we were going to bring that mentality and just knowing what it means to play Spurs in a London derby. And looking at the starting 11, seemed a back four: Kappa in goal, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, Chilwell, Enzo, Loftus-Cheek, Sterling, Joao Felix, Ziyech, Havertz. I don't really have too many qualms about the starting 11. The one question that I have is that I feel that Hakim Ziyech is somebody that he was literally in Paris, not meant to play for Chelsea, was going to be basically with PSG for the rest of the season if that hadn't fallen through. And I don't really think that he's necessarily put in the performances to be starting. And it's just confusing for me because he wasn't even going to be here. But on the other hand, there's a lot of new players in the team, and so maybe Graham Potter has seen that, well, you can't just throw all of them into the mix at once, so maybe trying to have a mix of more senior players or players that have more experience playing in the Premier League, playing for Chelsea, with the newer players thrown in as well. And it was honestly, I don't have your comments. Hey guys, feel free to send any comments that you have. I know that this is so painful, but maybe I can get you guys in a better mood. I'm not in a good mood. That literally gave me a headache, but I'm just trying not to let it ruin my Sunday, basically, because it's almost 5 p.m. and I don't want to be in a bad mood for the rest of the day. So looking at the first half, I don't feel that there was so much to talk about. Chelsea had kind of in the opening 10 minutes, it looked like Thiago Silva might have hooked a player. I don't think that we really had any opportunities, anything remotely close to being opportunity. I don't think so. Obviously, the big talking point in the first half was it a Ziyech red card? And I would love to know your thoughts about this incident. So basically, when I initially saw it, I was like, that's 100% a red card. Because he basically slapped him in the face. And it's kind of bad because Ziyech was pushed but then he's reacting, and you can't react in those situations. And the thing that I thought was weird was that the referee seems to show him a yellow card for a previous foul. I'm not sure. Then the referee seems to get word in his ear, because it was taking a while. He was showing yellow cards to other people, then seemingly holding on to one for Ziyech. Then seemed to get word in his ear from VAR that it should be a red card, shows Ziyech the red card. Then subsequently goes back to the screen and changes it to yellow card. And then I was thinking, but did he just show him a yellow card already? So it should be double yellow and then a red card? Is it just one yellow card? And a lot of people are saying, how the heck wasn't that a red card? And so basically the explanation that I got was that it's an automatic red card when you purposely hit somebody and hit somebody in the face, unless you can show that there was negligent force. So when you look at the replays, you can see that Ziyech's hand kind of comes against Emerson Royal's shoulder and then goes to his face. So I think that that's the reason why that it got downgraded from a red card to a yellow card. But let me know in the comments, should this have been a red card? Did Ziyech get away with one? I tend to think like the intent was there, so I was a bit surprised that it got downgraded, and so I thought it should have been a red card. But what do you guys think? I think I hear my husband with the puppy, so he's gonna come in now. Archie, I'm streaming. No, it's no problem. I can move. Let me move to the other room. Okay, sorry guys. I'm going to change my setup because the puppy has come. I like sitting there because there's more light, but I will make do in this room instead. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that that was a red card? Let me know in the comments because I feel like I'm going crazy here, thinking that it was a red card. I'll just keep talking through. So then, oh, okay, here. Leo De Silva says, not a red. He shoved his shoulder and then Emerson moved, so a little contact was made against his face, but the intent was to push his shoulder. Okay, that's a really interesting take, and that's probably why it was downgraded. I also do think that Emerson made like a big deal about the incident, obviously like trying to make the most of it to get Ziyech sent off. Idyllic says, not a red card from a Spurs fan. Well, happy to hear that because I was thinking, God's like, why do we always get red cards? What is our luck? And then coming out into the second half, like Chelsea just didn't turn on. Spurs score within the first 20 seconds. Kepa didn't clear the ball properly. Then Enzo cleared the ball, but he didn't clear it enough. And then Felix didn't get, oh no, not Felix, Felix didn't get in front of the ball. Archie, he's coming to say hi because he hasn't seen me in a couple of hours. And so then Chelsea, okay, goodbye. So then Chelsea concede, and you just feel like they didn't come out of the races. Like they just kind of looked like they were still in the dressing room, and concede to Spurs 1-0. And after that, I just never felt that Chelsea were truly going to get back into the game. Everybody just looked dejected. There didn't look to be any fight from the players, which is super frustrating. Chelsea now failed to score in 5 out of their last 6 games. It's really, really, really not looking good. I didn't think that. I thought that there were a couple of opportunities where we were trying to like short pass the ball into the back of the net. I thought that Havertz could have been more aggressive in those opportunities. But it also, when you're always trying to short pass, it gives the opposition time to get back into position. So when we would create something, Spurs then had enough time to get back into position, and then it would be blocked. So I really didn't feel that we were creating anything. For the second goal, you just knew that this game was going to finish like 1 or 2-0 to Spurs. Harry Kane loves scoring against Chelsea. I actually have Harry Kane in my fantasy team, and a lot of people were transferring him out, and I was like, it's Harry Kane. Like, I'm keeping him in my team, but also he loves scoring a goal versus Chelsea. And sure enough, he did. So maybe that's the only positive to take from this match, is that I got some points in fantasy. Sad. But Spurs are the team with the most goals scored from corners this season. Chelsea would have known this going into this match. It was 11. Now we've let it be 12. Chil was very static. Sterling wasn't tracking. Also, Mason Mount was tracking Dyer in the corner, which I don't quite understand why you're having Mason, a midfielder who's like not so tall, tracking Eric Dyer. So that had question marks all over it as well. And I'm just going to take a look at the comments, but I'm honestly scared to see what I'm going to find. James says, pain. I feel your pain. I have a headache from that game. Henderson Miller says, I feel so bad. Totally understand that feeling. I mean, I was looking at the Premier League table, and Chelsea and Crystal Palace are the only teams without any wins in their last 5 games, which is it's just like really sad. We're sitting in 10th, 31 points, level on points with Aston Villa. Um, and Brentford are 4 points ahead of us in 23rd. They have with 23 games played. They have a game in hand, so they could go 7 points ahead of us. Brighton are 35 points, so 4 points ahead of us with 2 games in hand. So, like, it's just looking not great from Chelsea. The only thing is Fulham have played 25 games and they're currently sitting in 6. So maybe we see Fulham drop down a bit. But still, it's just really, really bad. So I'm going to take a look at Sofa Score, because you guys know I like to look at the stats and bring the stats into this. So I'm going to share this. Cool. Alrighty. So first off, you can just see like the attacking patterns. Like Chelsea came out attacking, had a good opening 10-15 minutes or so. Then Spurs really dominated for the majority of the first half. They came out of the second half swinging. Chelsea were trying to do things. Spurs scored again. And then the interesting thing was that Chelsea were trying to, like, I felt like the best opportunities, or when we looked at least like the most potent, came in the last like 10 minutes or so. And I actually felt that Mudryk put in so many crosses in just the 10 minutes that he was on the pitch. I always take player ratings with a pinch of salt, because you can have a player that's had a really good game, but then just doesn't have a good player rating. Enzo Fernandez here is rated the highest out of all of the Chelsea players. I would say that's probably fair. Really sad about Thiago Silva. I didn't mention that, coming off injured. I hope that he's okay. That's going to be a big miss to us. Wesley Fofana came in. I thought Koulibaly was okay, but maybe I'm just focusing on other things. Reece James and Ben Chilwell. I thought Ben Chilwell got up a couple of times and looked okay, but I don't feel that they did like so much in this match. Ruben was okay in this match. I didn't think Hakeem Ziyech really did anything. Joao Felix, Raheem Sterling maybe looked the most potent out of the 4 attacking players. And like I said, Kai Havertz just looked like he was completely missing aggression. Let's take a look at some player statistics. So accurate passes, Enzo Fernandez with 89%, Chilwell and Koulibaly. Duels won, you could see the most duels. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, well, it's not doing it by amount won. But Joao Felix won 4 out of 15 duels. Ben Chilwell 5 out of 11. Enzo 5 out of 11. Raheem 5 out of 11. So like 50% win rate. Ground duels 4 out of 14. I feel like we were getting muscled off of the ball a lot, and this is kind of backing this up. Koulibaly won about 60% of his aerial duels. Reece James 40%. Let's go into attack. Shots on target. Felix had 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked. Then you just go to Raheem Sterling, 1 shot on target. That was it. that was it for Chelsea. Koulibaly, looking from the stats, looking like he's had a pretty good game. 8 clearances in this game. Then Eric Dyer 6, Ben Davies with 5. Passing, accurate passes, but Enzo Fernandez topping with the most. Key passes, Kai Havertz having 3. Son had 2 key passes, and he was on for like 10 minutes. That's insane. Ben Chilwell with 1. Yeah, very interesting. And then let's just take a look at the statistics here. So expected goals 0.71 to 0.41. So Spurs like highly outperforming their expected goals. I mean, their first goal was just insane, but Chelsea only 0.41. We had the majority of the possession, 59%, only 10 shots in total, 2 shots on target, only 2 shots on target. And I'm wondering, attack, shots on target. So yeah, 1 coming from Joao Felix and 1 coming from Raheem Sterling. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, both of those shots were directly at the keeper. 5 shots off target. 3 yellow cards to their 2. Oh yeah, I forgot that they hit the post at one point as well. It was a deflection from Fafana, I think. Passes 407 to 588, 89% accurate passes, 64% long balls. Possession lost 125 times. Spurs won more duels, won more aerial duels, had more tackles. Chelsea just had more interceptions, and clearances is about the same as well. But just looking at that, it really shows that I feel that Spurs were just wanting it more in this game, which is surprising because you think, obviously Spurs are fighting for top 4, but Chelsea are also fighting to, start getting a good run of form. And so it's like really frustrating to have a performance like this. And I'll just share these like head-to-head stats, which versus Spurs here. But if you take a look, like we haven't lost to Spurs since 2018, 2019. This was at White Hart Lane as well, was in their old stadium. And then if you look 2019 to 2020, Chelsea beat Spurs away 2-0. 2020 to 21, okay. Chelsea again beat Spurs away. This is a tie. Last season, beat Spurs 3-0 away. Beat Spurs 4 times last season. And then this season, the 2-2 draw, which I do feel that Chelsea should have won. I'm still upset about that game. And then obviously the game today. So it's the first time that we've lost against them in the new stadium, which was like pretty depressing as well. But what do you guys make of the game? I think that those were basically like the majority of my notes. Where do Chelsea realistically go from here? It's a hard one. Like you play Leeds next. I think I might be going to that game. Let's see. I tend to be a good luck charm. At least when I've gone to the bridge, we've always won. But let's see. I'm low-key excited to see Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie from Leeds, because they're like my American heroes. But yeah, I don't know. Like you have a team that you've brought in all of these players. They need time to gel. But at the same time, we haven't really seen any signs of improvement, which I think is the frustrating thing, and what a lot of players are upset. A lot of the fans are upset about, because when we lost to Dortmund, I didn't see many people upset because it was a good game and I felt that we performed well in that match. So everybody was saying, well, we lost, but there were signs of improvement. At least it was there. But in the past couple of games versus Southampton, versus Spurs as well, we're just not looking good. Going forward, we just don't look like we have anything. And it's quite sad that we have all of these players that we just brought in and they had like a big sparkle when they first joined, and now it's looking like it's dimmed a bit. And how do you realistically fix that? I don't think that the board is going to sack Graham Potter. I would be shocked, to be completely honest with you, because he's on a really long-term deal. And they're looking at Mikel Arteta at Arsenal and looking what he's built now. And if you look at him in their first couple of seasons, I think they came in eighth, fifth, and now they're having the season that they're having. So I think that they're prepared to give him a preseason, see how things go, see that the season is a bit of a wash, and see how things get on next season. That's what I think is going to happen. So that's why I don't know. I never been one to really call for the manager's head or anything like that. And I'm aware that these things take time. So that's basically where I stand. But of course, it's really frustrating to just see your team losing week in, week out, not able to score goals. And I don't know. I'm not a manager. I don't have the answers to how we can fix this. Maybe when N'Golo Kante is fit, that's a boost as well. But Chelsea should have more than enough talent on the pitch to be winning these games and to put up a fight against Spurs. So I think it's about figuring out a formation and tactics that get the best out of the team, maybe bringing it back to basics a bit, and just letting the players shine and be creative. But I don't know what you can realistically do. It seems like a really sour mood. Well, it's I would be in a sour mood. I don't From the reports it seems that it's not a sour mood in the dressing rooms or anything like that. But of course, like when you're just on this run of really, really, really poor form, I think 2 wins in I don't know how many games now, like 15, 16, haven't won away since October. Of course, you're going to be upset about it. The thing I keep thinking about is like that's giving me hope is like those AC Milan games that we needed to win and we played so well and everybody was like, yes, like Parwal is coming in and we looked amazing and it's like where has that gone? Like we look so good. Now we have Rich James back, we have Ben Chilwell back. Like I feel like we could create something really, really good, but it's just not coming off right now. Hello from Dubai. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'm just looking to go through. A lot of people are upset about Graham Potter at Chelsea. I understand where you're coming from. It's really frustrating to be in this position. Um, Oreo says the board have to do what they're supposed to do, not the thing that they feel like. I just don't know if you sack Graham Potter, who do you realistically bring in at this point? I've seen people calling for Tuchel to come back. Thomas Tuchel, I would be like the most surprised person ever if Thomas Tuchel comes back to Chelsea, honestly. But I don't know. It's kind of like a bit of a bad look as well if you like had a transfer window with Thomas Tuchel, then sack him a couple of weeks after. Then you have this massive transfer window in January, and then sack Graham Potter a couple of weeks later. Like I don't know, like who's gonna want to come into that? And I really do feel like any coach would have difficulty in this environment. It's a lot of young players. We knew that this is a risk. It's a lot of players speaking different languages, getting adjusted to a new country as well, getting adjusted to the Premier League. Like all these things come together, and it's obvious that it's going to take time for them to gel. And I think that's why we're seeing like Raheem Sterling start and Ziyech start, because they're players that are used to the Premier League. Philip says, I can see Chelsea losing the next 2 games. Then I think Chelsea will have to sack Potter. Let's see. I mean, it's 2 massive. I said that these 3 games were going to be absolutely massive for Graham Potter. Spurs away, Leeds at home, Dortmund at home. And you need to show signs of something happening. So if Chelsea lose those 3 games, I don't even want to know what the fan base is going to be like. Joel says, lack of a consistent starting 11 is really killing us. And I tend to agree with this. It's something that I've said this like so many times. I've said this about the defense when we were chopping and changing the defense under Tuchel. I say this again now. Like when you don't have a consistent, core of starting 11 players, you have players like Mason Mount who are always playing out of position, or in different positions. For example, you're always going to have different players around you. You don't really get to build chemistry with any of those players because it's always changing. And I think certain players, like, you need an understanding. Like I think Enzo and Joao Felix could develop a really good understanding. We are seeing a couple of games ago, Joao Felix and Kai Havertz were developing an understanding. We're constantly changing the starting 11. Obviously, there's a lot of games, but now that Chelsea are knocked out of essentially all the competitions except the Champions League, there really shouldn't be so much rotation because it's really about a game a week at this point. So I think like having a consistent starting 11 could help us. Um, Hi, thanks for joining. Question is, do you think Luis Enrique would be a good replacement for the team we have? Honestly, I've only really watched him in depth with the Spanish national team. And I like what he did with the Spanish national team, but I have no idea like what the basis of his tactics are or if he would be a good fit for Chelsea. But I really liked what he did with the Spanish national team. And I think that they should have sacked him because we saw that Morocco went on to have an incredible competition. It wasn't just Spain that struggled versus Morocco. So I was really sad when Spain sacked him. Some people saying Luis Enrique is perfect for Chelsea. Um, Cabo says Arteta learned from Pep, an elite manager, who says Potter will do the same. Potter has no solutions for problems of the team. I mean, a lot of people were saying this exact same thing. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but people are saying the exact same thing about Arteta. I think it was like last season or the season before that Arsenal lost their 3 opening games of the season, and everybody was like, "Oh, Tedder's gonna get sacked. He's gonna get sacked," and he didn't get sacked. Arsenal stuck with him, and now look. And they had some really rough patches of form as well. I don't follow Arsenal like religiously, so I don't know if they've ever had like a run of form as bad as this one. But they still finished in eighth 2 seasons in a row, so it's not like it was an instant success. Like these things do take time. Um, yeah, that's what Sammy said. Just counter to my point. Yeah, I understand that. It's really rough. Like this is reminiscent of like 2015-16 for me. That was like a really rough season. But then we went on to win not the Champions League, the Premier League the next season. Um, Love says, "What's your take on lack of proper managerial options out there for a replacement?" Yeah, the only options that I know really, Zidane. I don't know if he would come to Chelsea. Luis Enrique, um, Poch as well. I don't know if you really bring any of these people in. I don't know what Chelsea board are going to do. For now, I'm sticking with Graham Potter. I'm sticking with the team. Like it's a horrendous run of form, but I just have to stick with them. Like as a fan, I just don't want to be one of those people calling for the manager's head. That's just my opinion personally. Um, I really hope that they can turn things around. I really, really do. Gus hitting out of retirement. um, that's hilarious. Like, how many spells would that be at Chelsea? Like 3. Um, Leo said, "Hope Thiago Silva's okay." Yeah, that was so sad when he came off. I think was it for Spurs that he also came off. I don't remember that he had an injury and had to come off really early. I think it might have been for Spurs as well. I'm not sure. Um, The Demond says the issue with Arteta is that they finished eighth, fifth. Do us as Chelsea fans want to go through eighth, fifth? No way. Yeah, of course not. Like that's not ideal. I think if anybody everybody wants us to be able to just like snap our fingers and have this like fully functioning, flowing team that's winning games and beating other teams. Like smashing them. Um, but that's just not how football works. That's just not realistic. And it's clear that this team is going through a growth or a transition period. And I feel that we've had like a lot of these issues for a while. Like we haven't been good attacking in a couple of years. And now it's kind of like being amplified times 10. We also don't have that many like loud voices on the pitch or like leaders on the pitch. You know, when I think it was the clip for Southampton that Aspilicueta was like trying to rally the team and everybody was just very stoic and looked like we had already lost that game. Um, So I think there's a lot of things that Chelsea really need to fix. I think we need a couple more leaders in the dressing room. Obviously, we need to start scoring goals as well. And yeah. So Emmy says, appreciate your balanced takes on the team, Elizabeth. People are melting down on Twitter right now. Yeah, that's why I'm staying off of Twitter. Like, I haven't checked it. I don't want to check it. Like, I know I'm going to check it, but I just don't want like to ruin my Sunday because I want to enjoy my life. and and it's like, of course I'm sad, right? Like, of course I'm a fan. I want my team to do well. But I also know that being negative or like contributing to like this negativity around the club isn't going to be helpful. Um and so I think like I just want to try to say things rationally. The rational thing is that you just bought a ton of new players and they're not gelling. Okay, I think that this makes sense. And it's not what everybody wants to hear. I'm not here to say what everybody wants to hear. I'm just saying it how I see it. That's it. It's frustrating. I get that it's frustrating. I think I've kind of accepted that this season is a wash. Like, I'm not expecting the top four for me was out of the question. And now we're in 10th. And if we can get like sixth or seventh, I think like that's realistically what we're going for at this point. Um, I just think that right now it seems like there's too far of a gap. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. But I think that since I've accepted that the season is a bit of a wash, these results aren't really so surprising to me and aren't really like impacting my mood so much anymore. I think if you see like at the beginning when we started going down this rabbit hole, I was like in a bad mood after every single game. And now I'm just trying to not let it affect me because I don't sleep well the next day. And that helps nobody. Um So it says if we keep transitioning like this soon, we'll be in the championship. I don't think we're gonna like the run of form. Actually, I read an article by the Athletic, and the run of form they said was like equivalent to like a team battling relegation, which is worrying. Yeah, that is worrying. I don't think we're gonna get relegated. Like I think that is like really far out of the question if that's your worry. ASJ82 says, I left a short space and came here instead. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for tuning in. Honestly, I really appreciate it. I know that it's like, I never know if I should do these after matches because I don't know if people want to talk about the game or if they'd rather just like shut off and not. So I really appreciate anybody who's coming with me and joining. And let me know, like, I would love to know if you guys prefer a live match take or like a recorded match review because I never know which one to do. And the live ones are a little bit easier for me because the recorded ones take forever to upload to my laptop and then I have to edit it and everything. And then it takes forever to post. So it's a little bit easier for me to just like go live after the game. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about what you prefer because I obviously just want to do what you guys prefer. Like I don't mind. So yeah, let me know. And it's always hard after a loss because I feel like nobody wants to watch a video after a loss, you know. So I never know like if I should go live or like talk about the game, but I'm trying to be like consistent with my channel. So that's like a conundrum that I face. Seeing some saying live is perfect. Somebody says I'm in the acceptance stage. Um, are you Potter in disguise? No, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't think I've made excuses. I think I'm just saying facts, honestly. Um, Nobody's saying, I never said that this was good enough and I was happy with where we're at. I never said that. I said, this is why this is happening and it's realistic. So let's stop with like the instant gratification of of Chelsea. Like, you have a lot of young players that are getting used to the Premier League. Obviously, you want to see a progression, and I want to see a progression throughout the end of the season. Otherwise, like, yeah, I don't know. We need to see what happens. I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't want to contribute to the negativity right now. I want to give it a couple more months, see what happens, and then I'll have my own take in a couple of months come the end of the season. Dev says, good to see female football content creators increasing. Thanks so much. Really appreciate that. Definitely not an easy space to be in. I have an all-female show tomorrow talking about all of the Premier League action, and we'll talk about the Carabao Cup or EFL Cup. I never know if it's like still called the Carabao Cup tomorrow as well. Are you guys watching that game, by the way? Because Newcastle versus United, like, who do you want to win that game? I personally want Newcastle to win because they haven't won a trophy in like 6-8 years. And one of my really good friends, friend of the channel, Kendall, is a Newcastle fan, and she's at Wembley. And I just saw like all these fans going to support the team, and it just seems really beautiful. United are in some crazy form, so they definitely have the upper hand right now. But who do you guys want to watch? Yes, the show is on my channel, and it will be tomorrow. I think 7. It's usually 7 p.m. UK time, sometimes 6, usually 7 p.m. UK time. But I'll create the stream in the morning, so you guys will know with plenty of time in advance what time the stream is at. But yeah, make sure to turn on notifications if you want. Yeah, the Bundesliga is like getting crazy as well. I don't watch the Bundesliga. I haven't, but I watched a TikTok about the Bundesliga. And Union Berlin are doing some insane stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Karthik says, I just don't want United to win. Hi, Steven. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Archie. Look who's here with me. How can you be upset when you have such a little love bug as a puppy? And he's just such a little cutie pie. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I was like so worried about going live after the game. Everybody, guys, Chelsea aren't going to get relegated. Like, that's just the most ridiculous thing. Oh my god, he's just like lying in my lap. He's had a long day. Cool, guys. Well, I think if I have my timing right, the final is about to get started. I never know with the time difference. But hope you guys somewhat enjoyed this match review. I think most people didn't, but that's okay. If you liked this video, if you like my match reviews, if you like my content, sub to the channel so that you don't miss anything. I'll have another video going over all of the Premier League action and the Cup final tomorrow. And I think I should be actually in London for the Chelsea Leeds game. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to like go to the match because I might be working. So we'll see, but I'll try to bring you guys as much content as possible from Chelsea Leeds as well. Should be an interesting game to say the least. So hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, evening. Sub to the channel, like, and don't be in such a bad mood. Archie just went like, no, I will be in a bad mood after the match. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening. Enjoy the match. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.